Staying informed on fire weather conditions and forecasts is a pretty basic concept. But really, how easy is it? You and your crew are bombarded with information and indicators regarding your current fire environment. I mean, you definitely need to know what your fire is doing at all times, but awareness alone is just the beginning. Your ability to focus on what is important and filter what is not will allow you to interpret and convert it into something useful. Scott Dorval is a news meteorologist in Boise, Idaho. He will talk to you about some of the most basic elements of sky watching and the importance of simply raising your eyes to the sky and making frequent, thoughtful observations.
When it's 100 degrees in the summertime, what's causing the air to rise is the sun comes up in the morning, it heats the ground. The sun does not heat the air, the sun heats the ground, it heats solid objects. And the solid objects are touching the air, the ground is touching the air, and that air then gets warm, like a radiator, warms that air, and then that layer of air rises. And then cool air comes down to replace it, and that air warms up and it rises. And that's the mixing that occurs during the day that we talked about. When you talk about in fire weather forecast mixing, the air is mixing and then it continues to rise. Rising air will then cool as the air pressure drops. There's no air at the top of the atmosphere, so we know as the air rises, the pressure's dropping, and so the temperature drops, and in the clouds, the air cools, and when it cools far enough, it hits its dew point, and then a cloud forms. If you have more moisture near the ground, you only have to take that air and bring it up a shorter distance and you'll get a cloud forming. If it's extremely dry, the temperature and dew point are very, very far apart. The humidity is very low, and so you take this air and you have to make it rise higher and higher and higher. As that temperature falls, it has to fall further and further, and you have to make the air go higher and higher before you can get a cloud to form. And the reason storms will form over the mountains first is because it's an elevated heat source. The sun is heating the ground in a place where it's cooler and the ambient air next to it, and so it doesn't take the air to, it doesn't have to rise as far to get a cloud to form. That's why clouds will form right over the mountains earlier in the day, as opposed to waiting for the sun to mix that air all the way up to this point where it can mix it up right on this mountainside nearby. So this particular picture here is a very unstable afternoon. You can already see the rain falling as we're looking north into the mountains. Obviously, we're seeing a very dark cloud here. You can see the lifting condensation level, that flat bottom to the cloud, and you're going to see the rain starting in the right-hand side of the picture there at about 4:20. You'll see the clouds start to ripple, and that moisture just come ringing right out of the cloud, out of the thunderstorm. We'll see it right here on the right. And with that, you get a big burst of wind, which knocked my camera over, which is a good indicator that that was a pretty strong storm system. Okay, now this is another indicator showing the sun is now heating the ground, and you have vertical development of the clouds. You can see the puffy nature to the clouds. The sun heats the ground, the clouds, the warm air rises, makes those clouds. Now the sun is going down, the heat source is disappearing. As the heat source disappears, the clouds just disappear, because the only thing that's causing that moisture to condense is the lifting of the air, and the lifting of the air has disappeared. So we might have had a fire weather forecast that said that nothing's going to happen maybe today or tomorrow, but maybe we've got some indications that we're going to start bringing more moisture in. And then one morning you wake up and you start to see these low clouds. They're not real big and puffy, but they have a puffy nature to them, but that's smaller. And there's little clusters of puffy clouds. And what you're seeing here is altocumulus constellatus, or ACUS. That's a sign that, okay, we've got an unstable day here. This is a day that I really need to be paying attention in the afternoon and watching for the vertical development of storms. May not occur right over us. We may have